Have you ever heard of someone falling in love, not with a real person, but with a painting? What if your heart belonged to someone who died almost 100 years ago? Stay with me, because this story will surprise you. And if you enjoy learning English through real stories, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Everyday Fluent English. Liam is a taxi driver. He doesn't own a car because the company owns all the taxis. Every morning he is given a different one to drive. Sometimes it's a brand new car, sometimes it's an old one that feels tired. Liam never complains. He simply takes the keys, inspects the car, and begins his work. He is young, tall, and handsome. His face is strong and calm, with eyes that many people remember. Women notice him. Often, passengers smile at him in the back seat. Sometimes they even ask, "What time do you finish work? We're having a party tonight. Would you like to come?" Liam hears this often. The invitations are real. The women are serious. But Liam always says no. Why does he say no? Why does he turn down every invitation? The truth is simple, but also strange. Liam is already in love. But here is the secret. He has never spoken to the woman he loves. He has never heard her voice, never touched her hand, never even seen her walking on the street. Her name is Grace Vincent Stevens. Liam knows this name well because he reads it every single day. It is written in black letters on a small golden plate beneath her picture. You see, Grace is not a living woman. She is a painting. Every day, after his long shift as a taxi driver, Liam takes a walk to the city's art gallery. He pays for a ticket, enters the cool, silent hall, and goes straight to her portrait. He stops, stands still, and looks at her. He can spend an hour, sometimes two, just standing in front of her. Grace looks beautiful in the painting. She wears a white satin dress that seems to shine, even in the quiet gallery light. Around her neck are diamonds and emeralds. Her earrings sparkle in the same way. Her face is soft, young, and calm. Her eyes seem to look at everyone who walks by. But when Liam stares at her, he feels that her eyes are only looking at him. In that moment, the world disappears. The sound of traffic, the smell of city air, the tiredness in his legs after a full day of driving, all of it fades. There is only Grace, looking at him from inside the frame. He dreams about her at night. He imagines her alive, walking beside him, smiling at him, maybe sitting in the front seat of his taxi as he drives. In his mind, Grace is his girlfriend. He knows this is not possible. He knows the truth. Grace Vincent Stevens lived long ago, and she died in 1927. But still, his heart belongs only to her. Liam's routine is simple. His official working hours are from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. But he always arrives 1 hour earlier at 5 a.m. Why does he do this? Because the company has a rule. Every driver must clean their taxi after work. Most drivers ignore the rule. They finish late, they feel tired, and they just park the cars and leave. But Liam hates dirty taxis. So, he cleans his before he even starts his shift. At 5 a.m., the city is still half asleep. The air is cold and quiet. Liam takes a bucket of water and a cloth. He wipes the windows until they shine. He picks up any rubbish from the seats. He vacuums the floor. Slowly, the car becomes fresh and ready. Only then does he feel good enough to begin his day. From 6 a.m. until the afternoon, Liam drives. He collects people going to work, students carrying heavy bags, tourists with maps, and families with noisy children. He doesn't talk much, but he is polite. His smile makes people comfortable. Some passengers remember him long after the ride. For Liam, though, these hours are just steps toward the evening, toward the gallery, toward grace. One day, Liam decided to buy a catalog from the art gallery. It had photographs of many paintings, including Grace's portrait. He kept the catalog next to his bed. At night, before closing his eyes, he would look at her picture. In the morning, he would sometimes open the catalog again, just to see her face before going to work. The more he looked at her, the stronger his feelings became. He began to imagine conversations with her. Sometimes, when the gallery was quiet and empty, he would whisper softly, "How are you, Grace? Did you miss me today?" And in his heart, he felt she answered. He knew it was crazy. He knew it was only his imagination. But he didn't care. No other woman could touch his heart. No smile in the back of his taxi could compare. No invitation to a party could make him forget the calm eyes of Grace Vincent Stevens. Liam kept his secret. He never told anyone about his love. He feared that if he shared it, people would laugh at him. They would call him strange, foolish, or even mad. So he said nothing. He lived his quiet life, driving taxis by day, standing before a painting by evening, and dreaming by night. But life has a way of changing when we least expect it. One morning, Liam arrived at the company, as always, at 5 a.m. The office worker handed him the keys. "Number 505 for you today," the man said. Liam frowned. "I'm sorry," he answered. "Eddie drove number 505 last night. That man never cleans his taxi. It's always a mess." The office worker only shrugged. Liam sighed. "That's okay. I'll clean it. I have time." He walked into the garage and opened the door of car 505. Just as he thought, the car was dirty. The windows had fingerprints. The seats had crumbs. On the floor near the driver's seat, there were empty cans and a greasy pizza box. Eddie had been eating while driving again. Liam shook his head but said nothing. He rolled up his sleeves and began to clean. First the outside, soap, water, and a cloth. Then the inside, picking up trash, wiping the seats, cleaning the floor. The back seat was not so bad. Only a few marks, a little dust. Liam bent down to check the floor carefully. That's when he saw it. Something shiny. It was small, lying just under the back seat. Liam reached out and picked it up. His eyes opened wide. It was an earring. He held it in his hand. He turned it slowly. Gold, with tiny stones that looked like diamonds. In the middle, a deep green that looked like an emerald. Liam's heart began to beat faster. "I know this earring," he thought. "I've seen it before." But where? Maybe on a passenger? Maybe in the gallery? The company had a rule. If a driver found anything in a taxi, they must give it to the office immediately. But Liam hesitated. He wanted to think. He wanted to remember. He slipped the earring into his pocket. When his shift ended that afternoon, Liam returned the car, took the bus home, and made a simple sandwich with a cup of coffee. He sat at his small kitchen table, placed the earring in front of him, and stared at it. He thought hard. Where had he seen it? Then suddenly he remembered. He jumped from his chair, ran to his bedroom, and grabbed the catalog from the art gallery. He opened the page that showed Grace Vincent Stevens. He looked at her picture. His hands began to shake. The earrings in the painting, diamonds, emeralds, shining in the light. The earring in his hand was the same. Liam froze. His heart pounded. His mind filled with questions. How could this be possible? Was this earring just a copy? Was it a trick of the eyes? Or could it be real? The discovery would soon take Liam on a path he never imagined. a path that would connect his lonely life to someone new. And it all began with the mysterious earring, found in the back of taxi number 505. Liam could not take his eyes off the earring. He turned it over and over in his hand. The green stone caught the light of the kitchen lamp. It looked alive, almost glowing. He whispered to himself, "It's the same. It's exactly the same as hers." His heart raced. He felt as if the woman in the painting had reached out from the past and touched his present life. He thought about the company rule. If a driver finds something in the taxi, he must give it to the office. He should have walked straight to the desk and handed the earring over, but he didn't. Instead, he put it in his pocket. He wanted to keep it, just for a little while, to think, to understand. Now, sitting alone in his kitchen, he felt both excited and afraid. Could this earring really be connected to Grace Vincent Stevens? It seemed impossible. Grace had died in 1927. The painting was nearly a century old. The earrings in that painting had surely been buried with her or lost in time. And yet, here was one, resting in Liam's hand. He didn't sleep well that night. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw Grace's calm face and her shining earrings. He heard her whispering, though he knew it was only his imagination. When the alarm rang the next morning, he got up with a heavy head, but also with determination. He needed answers. The first step was Eddie, the driver who had used taxi number 505 the night before. Maybe Eddie remembered who left something in the car. Maybe he could describe the passenger. That evening, after finishing his shift, Liam went back to the office and asked the night manager, "When does Eddie come in?" The manager looked up from the desk. "Around midnight." Liam nodded. "I'll wait." The hours passed slowly. He walked outside, then came back in. He made himself a cup of coffee from the machine, but it tasted bitter. His eyes kept returning to the clock on the wall. 10 o'clock, 10:30, 11. Finally, a little before midnight, he heard the sound of an engine. Eddie drove taxi 505 into the garage. He looked tired. His eyes were half closed, his shirt was untucked, and he walked like someone ready to collapse. Liam hurried to him. "Eddie," he said quickly, "last night, did you have a female passenger?" Eddie sighed and rubbed his forehead. "Of course. I had many passengers. Some were women. Why? Can you remember any of them? Where did you take them?" Liam pressed. Eddie groaned. "I'm tired, Liam. I don't remember details. I picked up 2 women and took them to a restaurant in the Jardians district. I picked up an old man and a woman at the metro station, took them near the university. And let me think." He closed his eyes for a second, then opened them again. "Yes, one more. A young woman. I took her to a hotel. She seemed upset. That was my last job of the night." Liam's pulse jumped. "Which hotel, Eddie? Do you remember the name?" Eddie waved his hand. "No idea. I was half asleep by then. Go away, Liam. I'm too tired." He grabbed his bag and walked out of the garage. Liam stood frozen. He couldn't let it end there. Then he remembered something important. Every time a driver picks up a passenger, they call the office. The company keeps a record of every job on the computer. If he could check the computer, he could find the exact hotel. He went back inside. The night office manager was a woman named Fiona. She was typing something on the screen when Liam asked, "Fiona, can you help me? I need to know Eddie's last job from last night. Where did he take his last passenger?" Fiona raised an eyebrow. Why do you want to know? Liam's mouth went dry. He couldn't tell her the truth about the earring. If he did, she would ask why he hadn't handed it in, and he might lose his job. His mind raced. He needed a reason. But before he could think of one, a loud crash echoed from the garage. Two cars had bumped into each other, one coming in and one going out. Fiona jumped from her chair and ran outside, shouting, "What are you doing? Watch where you're going!" Liam's chance had come. He slipped behind the desk, sat at the computer, and quickly pulled up the records. His hands shook, but he found it. Eddie's last job. The screen showed the time, the pickup, and the destination, a small, cheap hotel. Liam whispered the name to himself, memorizing it, then closed the window and stepped away. Fiona came back, still angry. She sat down, grumbling about careless drivers. Liam smiled politely and said nothing. But inside, he was burning with excitement. He had the answer. The next morning, Liam did not go to work. Wednesday was his day off. Instead, he took the bus straight to the hotel. It was small, old, and plain, the kind of place where students or poor travelers might stay. Liam stood across the street, watching. People came and went, carrying bags, wearing tired faces. Liam waited. He waited for hours. He watched carefully, hoping to recognize the owner of the earring. But how could he? He didn't know her face, her name, or even her age. He only knew that one earring was missing. By 2 o'clock in the afternoon, his stomach growled with hunger. His body was stiff from standing. "I am so stupid," he thought. "What am I doing here? How will I ever find her?" He shook his head. Then another thought came. Grace will help me. Grace will guide me. He left the hotel and walked to the art gallery. He bought his ticket as always and entered the quiet hall. But today, something was different. Someone was standing in front of the painting. Liam stopped. His heart sank. He hated when other people stood too long in front of her. He wanted to be alone with Grace. He wanted her eyes only on him. The figure in front of the painting was a young woman. She stood very close, and her shoulders shook. She was crying. Liam moved quietly across the hall until he was near enough to hear. The young woman whispered, "Oh, great-grandmother, I am Clara. I came from my home, a small town near Tajupa. I worked in a little shop. I hated it. I wanted to live in the city, but my father said no. My grandmother helped me. She gave me these earrings. Your earrings. She said they would bring me luck, but now I have lost one. I don't know what to do." Liam's breath caught in his throat. His eyes went to her ears. She wore one earring. The other was gone. This was it. This was the woman. He clutched the earring in his pocket, his heart beating so loudly he thought she might hear it. What should he do? Should he step forward and speak? Should he give it to her, or should he stay silent, afraid she would never believe him? For the first time in years, Liam was not only thinking of Grace in the painting. He was staring at someone real, someone alive, someone who carried Grace's blood in her veins. And in that quiet gallery hall, with Clara crying in front of the portrait, Liam felt that his life was about to change forever. Liam's hands trembled as he approached Clara. The gallery was quiet, the other visitors long gone. She had not noticed him yet. He held the earring tightly in his palm, unsure if he should speak first or just show it. Finally, he said softly, "Excuse me, I think this belongs to you." Clara turned around, startled. Her eyes widened. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice trembling. "I'm Liam," he said, trying to stay calm. "I drive a taxi." Yesterday, I found this earring in a car. He slowly placed it in her hand. She stared at it, her fingers brushing the gold and emerald stone as if she could feel its history. Yes, yes, it's mine, she whispered. How did you find it? Liam smiled faintly. I noticed it when I cleaned the taxi. I remembered the painting, and I thought it might be the same earring. I wanted to be sure. Clara's eyes filled with tears. She looked down at the earring, then back at Liam. This is incredible. I can't believe it. My grandmother. She always told me about this painting, about Grace Vincent Stevens. She said these earrings would bring me luck. Liam's heart raced. He felt a strange connection, not only to Grace in the painting, but also to Clara. She looked so much like her great-grandmother, and yet she was alive, smiling faintly through her tears. Clara continued, I came to the city to start a new life. I saved money for 2 years just to get here. My grandmother told me to visit Grace's painting. She thought it would guide me, and now it has. Liam nodded slowly. I believe it guided you, and me too. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The gallery felt larger somehow, filled with quiet energy. Liam's eyes went back to the painting. Grace Vincent Stevens seemed to watch him with calm eyes. He felt a shiver run down his spine. Somehow he knew Grace was happy he had helped Clara. Clara looked up at him. I don't know how to thank you. You found my grandmother's earring. It means so much. And you didn't have to do it yourself. Liam hesitated. He didn't want to sound foolish, but he had to say it. I love this painting. I visit it every day. I didn't expect to find this earring, but when I did, I knew I had to find its owner. And then somehow, I knew it would be you. Clara's smile grew. It's a miracle. Maybe your love for Grace helped you. Maybe she guided your hand. Liam laughed softly. Maybe. I don't know. But I'm glad I could help. They stepped out of the gallery together. The evening sky was soft and orange. Liam looked at Clara, really looked at her for the first time. She was young, beautiful, and full of life. He realized that for the first time in years, his heart felt something new, something real. I would like to invite you for coffee, he said carefully. If you don't mind. Clara's eyes sparkled. I'd like that very much. But first, I need to thank my great-grandmother. She turned back to the painting and whispered, Thank you for guiding me. Thank you for helping me find what was lost. Liam watched, feeling a warmth he hadn't felt before. He knew somehow that Grace Vincent Stevens approved. Her calm eyes in the painting seemed to smile down on him, reassuring him that it was right to let go of the past and embrace the present. Clara turned back to Liam. Let's go for coffee, she said. They walked together toward a small cafe near the gallery. Liam felt light, as if he were walking on air. He had helped someone, and in doing so, he had opened the door to a new beginning. They talked quietly over steaming cups of coffee. Clara shared her story, her grandmother, her childhood, her journey to the city. Liam listened, sometimes asking questions, sometimes just smiling and watching her gestures. He felt a connection growing, delicate, but real. Do you still visit the gallery often? Clara asked after a while. Liam nodded. Yes, every day if I can. Grace has always been my inspiration, and now I think maybe she helped me find you. Clara laughed softly. She has a way of guiding people, doesn't she? Liam smiled. Yes, she really does. As the evening grew darker, Liam realized something important. All those years of dreaming about Grace, all that quiet love for a painting had led him here. It had prepared him to care, to act, and to notice what mattered. Grace's portrait would always be special, but now he had someone real to love, someone alive who could respond, laugh, and smile back. Clara finished her coffee and stood. "I should go back to my hotel," she said. "But, Liam, thank you. You didn't just return an earring. You returned hope." Liam nodded. "I'm glad. And maybe we can meet again tomorrow?" Clara smiled. "I'd like that." Liam watched her leave, the small bell on the cafe door ringing behind her. He looked up at the sky, now turning dark with the first stars of night. He thought of Grace Vincent Stevens, calm and beautiful in her frame. He whispered softly, "Thank you, Grace, for everything." And in the quiet of the evening, Liam knew that life had changed. The lonely taxi rides, the secret visits to the gallery, the silent dreams of love, they had all led to this moment. He had helped someone, and in doing so, he had opened his heart to a new love. For the first time in a long time, Liam smiled freely. He was no longer just a man in love with a painting. He was a man discovering life, hope, and love in the real world. And somewhere, in the calm eyes of Grace Vincent Stevens, he felt her blessing, quiet but clear, telling him it was time to move forward, and that happiness was waiting. Just ahead. The earring, the painting, the secret love. It had all been part of a journey. And now Liam had found something greater than a dream. A connection to someone real, someone alive, someone who could walk beside him in the present, as Grace had guided him from the past. The streets of the city were quiet as he walked back to his small apartment. The stars were shining above. Liam felt lighter than ever. He carried no secret anymore, only hope and possibility. The future was open, full of life, full of real love, and he knew that he was ready for it. And so, Liam's story came full circle. From the lonely taxi driver, in love with a painting, to the man who discovered that love could live again. Not in a dream, but in a real person, in the heartbeat of someone who smiled back at him and who, like him, had waited long enough for a miracle.